Good morning, Rutgers. I'm Weather Watcher Dan Cohn here to bring you your Friday morning forecast and our look at what's going on with Hurricane Joaquin. So let's take a look at our headlines for today. It's not going to be a great Friday, and you can already know it. We have a coastal flood warning in effect that lasts through Sunday evening. And basically what we're going to be seeing today is rain. Also, the wind will be picking up later on today, and this lasts through tomorrow, but for the most part tomorrow morning. Hurricane Joaquin still appears to stay away from the East Coast, though. Based on some of the last night model runs, there has been some westward trends with this storm, which I'll get to later on in the segment, but I'm still sticking with an out-to-sea solution. As we take a look at our high temperatures for today, it's not going to be a warm day, and you know it. Temperatures in the lower to mid-50s. With a gusty northeasterly wind, it's also going to be raining, although not terribly heavy, but it's definitely raw outside. And you can see the northeast is not warm out there. So after the warm September we had, October has definitely started off pretty much differently so far, though we are going to see a warmer trend in the 7-day forecast. So let's take a look. We have a coastal flood warning. This is shaded in dark green or like a blue-green color for Middlesex County down the Jersey Shore and the greater Philadelphia area. This also includes beach erosion and also tidal flooding around the times of high tide. Coastal flood advisory for the New York City area. And for Atlantic and Cape May County, also for Monmouth and Ocean County, we have a high wind warning. This is for winds that will gust in excess of 50 miles per hour or greater, especially as we head on into tonight. So that's where really there's going to be some problems with beach erosion and in the times of coastal flooding and tidal flooding. As we take a look at our radar and satellite, you can see we have a huge plume of moisture basically along the eastern seaboard. You see the rain is a lot lighter in our area, but we have some very heavy rain across the Carolinas and to Virginia. There could be seen a lot of flooding from this because that's where a lot of the heavier rain is going to be in the next few days. This is not in association with Hurricane Joaquin. We just have a coastal storm or nor'easter that is just going to be sticking around the next few days. As we take a look at the bigger picture, here's what we have in place. The top part of the screen, you can see we have a block in high. That's really just slowing everything down on this map. We have a dip in the jet stream, which we haven't really seen much the past few months. That's why it's so cool outside. And we have a front that's just stationary, and this is why we're seeing rain overriding this front, and also a coastal low that's developing just off of the Carolina-Georgia coastline. And the bottom far right in your screen, you can see that's Hurricane Joaquin, but I'll show you a better view of that. As of the 8 a.m. advisory, it's still a Category 4 storm, but the pressure has risen to 937 millibars, which does suggest that maybe some drier air is getting into the system a little bit, which does mean it does weaken a little. It will weaken eventually in the forecast. But you can see you can't really pick out an eye, so that means there is some issues going on, but it's still a powerhouse of a hurricane. The Bahamas are just getting hammered as we speak, even into tomorrow morning. As we take a look at the official track from the National Hurricane Center, the East Coast is no longer in the cone of getting hit by Hurricane Joaquin, but it doesn't mean we should stop paying attention to this. Like I just said a few moments ago, there has been some of the models from last night and this morning have tried to jog this thing a little bit further westward, so I wouldn't totally rule out the East Coast impact or an East Coast landfall, but I would give that a 20% chance at the moment. I'm sticking with an out-to-sea solution, but here's the RPM model, which we show every segment run. You have Hurricane Joaquin in the bottom of your screen, still impacting the Bahamas. We have our nor'easter, which is bringing us some rain up and down the eastern seaboard. And Hurricane Joaquin, still at 10 a.m., is still just about to pass north of the Bahamas, still is a Category 4 or being downgraded to a Category 3 storm at this point. It's continuing northward, but look what happens. The trough that I showed you in the few slides before is capturing the storm, but according to this model guidance, and then brings it back to the Virginia-Carolina coastline as maybe a hybrid storm at this point, or still a hurricane. I'm not quite buying the solution at the moment because I do think the storm is a little bit too strong for this trough to really bring it back in. But this is what I said a moment ago. You can't dismiss an East Coast landfall or some grays and impacts from Hurricane Joaquin. But I do think for the most part they should stay offshore. But this is where you still have to stay tuned to Weather Watcher for further updates. There's been some big wild cards or big curveballs to the forecast, and sometimes these models aren't great at picking that up. So we do want to watch that carefully, but I do think there's a good chance this is going to stay out to sea. Meanwhile, back at home, looking at our day planner for today, we have 52 degrees around 12 noontime. So just primarily on and off light rain. I don't think the rain is going to be terribly heavy. It may pick up in intensity by the time we head in our 5 and 6 p.m. hours. And also those winds will start to pick up. So we'll start to get windy, especially as we head on to tonight. So make sure you have that raincoat and jacket handy with you as you head in out for today. So as we take a look at our Friday forecast, a look ahead, 53 degrees, maybe 54. That's the best we're going to do. Rain, winds will start to increase later on today. Watch out for that coastal flooding if you're along area beaches or along the Raritan Bay for around the times of high tide, and also that beach erosion. Winds out of the northeast at 18 miles per hour. As we look at tonight, the rain could be a bit heavy at times, but it's also going to be windy. Winds will be busy out of the northeast at 20 miles per hour. It's just very raw outside. And the winds could gust in excess of 40 to maybe even 50 miles per hour. Best chance for 50 mile per hour gusts or higher will be along the Jersey Shore. As I step aside for that 7-day forecast, you can see we have some inclement weather for today lasting into tomorrow, but I think the rain should taper off by Saturday afternoon. So hopefully we can get the game in. Well, the game will be in either way, but I wouldn't say we're going to be clearing out. I still think there's going to be a lot of clouds around. If there's some breaks in the clouds, maybe that happens across northwestern New Jersey, but temperatures are going to be cool once again as we head into tomorrow, only in the mid-50s. We are trending drier for Sundays, and we'll keep an eye on what happens for Hurricane Joaquin, but for now, I am assuming we're going to be drying out with temperatures in the upper 60s and eventually until lower 70s with lots of sunshine. So we'll still stay tuned to Weather Watcher in terms of further updates on Hurricane Joaquin. And you can check us out for that every 15 minutes on RUTV channel 23.1. And if you're not by your computer or you're off campus, you can follow us on Facebook or on Twitter, using the hashtag RUWeather. And for more information, you can check us out at weatherwatcher.rutgers.edu. I'm Dan Cohen. Be sure to check us out for further updates on Hurricane Joaquin in case the forecast changes dramatically, which I don't think it will. Better safe than sorry. Make it a great Friday.